It is the 1000th episode of Flyers Daily, and we have two very special guests, two people that I've known in different areas for a long time. Danny, when he came as a Flyer from Buffalo, as a player, now executive and general manager, and of course Keith Jones, who I've known through many years of radio broadcasting. And we're celebrating this 1000th episode. I'd like to thank you for listening. You know, I know you're in the top 1%
I am
of our
a big
listeners.
fan of your work, Jay. I'm really happy to be here and glad to celebrate this great moment with you.
Danny, you've now worked with Jonesy's basically since the end of last season. And I'm sure you listened to Jonesy on the radio and on telecasts, both national and local, for years. What have you learned about him?
A lot, because we're spending most of our days together, chatting back and forth. What's been awesome is having a chance to do it with someone who thinks the game like I do. The ideas, and obviously we differ sometimes on players and stuff like that, but we have the same mindset in how to build a team and the people that we want around us. So to me, that's been the most exciting part.
Jonesy, not even a year ago, you're still waking up early doing morning radio with Ange, and you're doing the telecast nationally and locally. And now you've got skin in the game again. What's it been like to have skin in the game?
Well, now I wake up and I'm not just thinking about where I'm going. I'm thinking about where I came from. I'm thinking about what happened the night before. I'm thinking about what we need to do in the future. It's very different for sure. In my previous jobs, when the game ended, you were on to the next one. And when the morning show ended on radio, you were on to the next show. Unless you said something stupid, and then you had to worry about that all day. But it's a lot different now. So, and it's a lot more exciting. And it's good to have someone like Danny to work with in that environment. I think it would be pretty lonely if it was someone that was doing it by themselves. It's just worked out really well. And we've got a good crew around us too, which Danny mentioned earlier. It's been a lot of fun. It's invigorating.
Well, the thing is, you guys aren't siloed. It's not silos here and silos there. The one thing you both have in common, other than obviously playing here, is you're both working for a guy in Dan Hilferty. What's it been like working for Dan?
It's been amazing. His energy, he wants to learn. He wants to know what we're looking for. It's been really special sharing with him and bringing his energy over to kind of make it transpire through the rest of our team. We see it here at the Wells Fargo, and it's the same thing in Voorhees at the training center. So it's been a blast working with Dan.
Jones, you've been around talented people all throughout your career, different, whether it's professional athletes or performers or radio people or television analysts and hosts and play-by-play guys. And sometimes you don't have to really break down too much why they're successful. What is it about Dan that makes him so successful in leading?
The easy answer is relationships, the way he relates to other people, the way he makes people feel when they're around him. I think that you can clearly see why he has been so successful in his life and other businesses. He is a leader. He is someone that you respect. He's someone that you can relate to and talk to about anything. I think all those things are really valuable. And if you meet friends of Dan's, you see that they're really decent people. And I think that's really important for all of us moving forward. In this organization, that's what we want.
You didn't go in the locker room from the time you played until you were working as an executive. What was that moment like walking back into that locker room?
It was a little confusing because we've done so much work over at the skate zone. I mean, nothing was like it was when I was there 23 years ago.
Yeah.
I got lost. It was a strange day. I walked in and no one was there. I got there early and I'm like, where am I going? The gym was in an entirely different place, and obviously it's state-of-the-art facility now. Yeah, it was definitely different. Not just the changes that have been made, but coming in a different position. And but it didn't take long. Danny was there right away too, which was awesome, and just kind of settled into it and started getting the work done.
Danny, when you look at this team in this season, your job is to oversee it at all levels and monitor, the progress of prospects, whether that's in the KHL with a guy like Matvei Michkov or others, or in the Ontario Hockey League, whatever it might be. But John Tortorella said something interesting in the press availability that, one of the things that he wanted this team to do was play a lot faster in transition. Yep. You can see it. But so that when guys like Matvei Michkov or Cutter Gauthier get here, the team's already used to it. Has that been an organizational conversation?
Well, I think it makes sense. It's something. It's not easy to play the way we're playing. It's very demanding because guys cannot sit back and relax. We've talked about getting better as each season goes by. That is part of the plan, is bringing a team that plays faster. But to have that, you need to think faster, not just work faster, but also think faster. And you need skill, you need talent, and I think that's going to come eventually. We have a lot of guys in the minors that we're hopeful that down the road are going to play and be able to join our crew. But we're
Denver
definitely
Barkey, right?
Denver Barkey's a really
Yeah.
good example. You mentioned Mishkov and Oliver Bunk too. It's taken a huge step in his game this year. But when they come, they're going to have to play fast and they're going to have to follow what Torts is building now. So I think it's really exciting.
I see the makeup of this team and some of the work you just did in this offseason, and the team's in a proper rebuild. But I see players like Garnet Hathaway. Jones, let me ask you about Garnet Hathaway. Because there may be games where he plays 8 minutes and 50 seconds, or he plays 12 minutes and 6 seconds. But it feels like he plays way more than that because he's his minutes are very meaningful.
He's a great example for any young players that we have in our organization that want to make it to the NHL. Be noticed. I mean, that's what he is. He's a noticeable player. Every time he steps on the ice, he benefits us in many ways. He provides a great distraction when necessary because of his aggressive nature, but he gets it, and he gets it in the room and the way he, represents himself, how hard he works off the ice and in practice, and that translates to the way that he plays on the ice. He's been a really important player for helping us get this thing back on track this year. There's no question that those type of players are players that others and younger players can look up to, and we're really excited to have him here.
Yeah, every minute is potent that he plays. Danny, when you're in a rebuild, some people translate rebuild as mean, well, you got to tear it down, and that means losses. You have to lose in a rebuild to eventually get better. I totally disagree with that. But wins in a rebuild can be a good thing.
Definitely, and we believe in that.
Wins are never bad,
We
period.
believe but we believe that part of the rebuild is having a chance and being competitive every night. If you're going into the game thinking you're going to lose, what are you learning? That's not the mindset that we want to put in through this organization to our players. We want them to think they have a chance to win every night. Yes, we're a little young, maybe a lack of experience at times, but that's why we brought in guys like Mark Stahl, and you mentioned Garnet Hathaway. Sean Walker brings a little bit of that as well. So we try to surround our young guys with experience and to help them out. So the guys, when they go on the ice, they believe they can win every single night.
The locker rooms are changed. The skate zone's been redone. The locker rooms here are stunning. I'd have a wedding reception in there, to be honest with you. But you look at all that, and it's all with a nod to a man that's very important to both of you. You came here in part because Mr. Snyder was the owner. You did as well, and he stood by you when your career ended tragically, I'll call it. What is it like to reinstill, the things that were so important to him?
Yeah, it meant a lot, obviously, to us, but it means a lot to our fan base, too. And to kind of allow them to be reconnected in that way, knowing that, he's in the back of our minds when we're going about and trying to recreate our culture here. I think it's really important. And we always want to make sure we're respectful to that. He was very important to a lot of guys that have played hockey here in Philadelphia, and he was, the Philadelphia Flyers. So yeah, it's clearly something that we think of, and we want to carry forward.
Definitely.
Danny, you played in a number of outdoor games. I remember Boston covering that game up at Fenway Park in that 2010 season. Of course, at Citizens Bank Park as well. We won't bring up the penalty shot, even though I just did. You guys are going to play outdoors again this year.
Exciting, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you're with the big stage in New York,
Yeah.
Devils, and kind of 2 games in 2 days. What's the process been like getting ready for Stadium Series as a manager, not as a player?
Yeah, we had the chance to go over there a couple weeks ago and to see the setup, what it would look like, and it's exciting. Those are the days or the games that I wish I was still a player to have the chance to play, like you mentioned, on such a big stage. We haven't had the chance to really sit back and just think about that game. When it comes, we'll enjoy it, but we have a lot of pressing needs, in the moment, and we don't want to lose track of where we're at in the season and what we're trying to do. And the way we're trending is really exciting with our team and what coach is doing. So we're trying to focus a little bit more on that at the moment.
The Stadium Series jersey is always a big part. You guys are marketing 2 new jerseys this year already with the new era of orange. Are you having any influence on the Stadium Series jersey? Are they keeping you
No,
out?
I can approve it, though, which is kind of interesting
Approval
for me.
power.
So I've approved it, and it looks really cool. And I approve you getting one too, Jay, but you got to buy it.
Okay. Well, we'll put the number 1,000 on the back.
I
of this
love
episode.
it. Yep, that's great.
Guys, thanks for doing this and celebrating the 1,000th episode of Flyers Daily.
Well done.
Congrats. Well done.